Murder style, y'all.
Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity? Ooh.
Black Blood Brothers, which is known as BBB. I don't think anyone is going to call it that. Don't know why they would use that reference. Anyway, it is an animation that's been created by Koi Azano and has been published by Funimation Entertainment. In a place where humans and vampires coexist relatively and peacefully in a special zone, that peace is soon threatened by a new breed of vampires, the so-called Kulon children, who would try to make things extremely difficult. While that happens, it is up to a special vampire, which is known as a Black Blood, to defend the people and soon find answers of what's really going on. This is a shout out to my cousin who has bought me this anime 15 years ago for Christmas, and I'm just now watching it now. I know it took me a long while for me to get to this anime, but can you blame me? I have so many animes to catch up on, but I'm doing things in alphabetical order, so I'm now on the B section of my anime DVD list, and I got into Black Blood Brothers. And not only did I enjoy this anime, but I'm surprised no one is talking about this project. It is that damn good. The anime picks up at a very fair pace, but in a somewhat fast pace as well, because we are introduced to the city and how all these vampires and humans are living amongst each other. And of course, we also have vampires trying to defend how they live by shooting off certain humans and other vampires as well, which kind of made me feel a little awkward, because I thought vampires would bite each other to settle their differences, or maybe some fist-to-fist combat. But there were some vampires, in fact a lot of them, that was using guns, using swords. Shit, if they're not biting if they're not sucking blood, then they're sure as hell spilling it. But they're doing this because they are not just defending their home, but they are also selling their differences to other humans to get them at a similar gesture of them being identified as threats. Because they are not just vampires, there are certain other differentiations with these vampires, which is called old bloods, new bloods, black bloods, and the more fearful vampires that are lurking the shadows or revealing themselves as big terrorist threats, which is called the Kulon children, which don't have no boundaries, no honor, and above all, no remorse to human life at all. They'll even bite vampires too to make them become their own. And the Kulon children, they're more powerful, they're more vicious, and they're more deadly, which the humans fail to realize, so they just gun down anybody that has longer teeth than normal. And shortly after we introduced to that introduction, we introduced to the main character, Jiro, who is very freaking OP. And by his character being introduced, I was getting a lot of Alucard vibes. A lot of people that was looking into this project was doing a lot of comparisons too, but there's really no comparison. Alucard is an anti-hero, so is Jiro, but that's it. They are two different people, and if you watch them both, if you watch both of those projects, you can agree with what I'm saying here. Because Jiro is more kind-hearted, and he has a lot more weaknesses than Alucard. But that is not saying that this guy is weak, because by him being stronger independently, he also cannot take a lot of hits. There were some times where I thought he could get killed off by him just defending people or just protecting his younger brother. But if he consumes blood, especially from the blood of a virgin, he is OP as hell. But as we get introduced to Jiro's character, we are introduced to other side characters into this project that I've not only liked, but I kind of felt a somewhat attachment to. Like Kitaro Matsusuki. Kitaro is Jiro's younger brother. They explain more of him as the project continues, but he is one of those kind-hearted young kids that goes around and tries to find answers, and at the same time he cares about Jiro. But he is one of those kids that likes to jump into certain things, be nosy, tries to throw more napalm in the fire where he shouldn't. And what I mean by that is he increases the battle ratio to continue by him being clumsy, him going into the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, he is one of those characters that may be annoying at times. And I was thankful that they have not shown too much of his clumsiness because it will make me hate the project. Then we have Mimiko Katsuragi. Mimiko is a human. She is practically one of the only humans in this project. And when she is introduced to Jiro and Kataru, she wants to try to understand where they're coming from by her going into an outside manner to see the differences between the old bloods and the other bloods that is related to the whole vampire tree, and try to get them away from the Kulon children. And by doing so, her character path was actually pretty good. I like the craft of her charactership. And when Jiro needs help or when he has his back against the wall, she doesn't just back away and tries to defend other people while she knows that things are bad in the human aspect. She actually throws herself out there to try to help Jiro out, even if he needs blood to make him stronger. She offers herself to do this, and it's kind of cliche for a vampire story, but I'll give it a pass because she grows a very strong attachment to Jiro's character, which is also kind of cliche. But what kind of threw me off is just the path of the variation of these characters. When we're introduced to more characters later into the project, I wanted to see who was going to be the big catch to Jiro's character, because even if he does consume blood and he does overpower certain enemies, who is going to be the enemy that's going to test out his whole limitations? And that is Cassandra Jill Warlock. Cassandra Jill Warlock, she is not just a rival. She is not just a bad guy. Hell, she's not just a character that just going around and do shit out of her own jurisdiction. She is the character that literally pulls the strings into a lot of this project's unanswered questions. And she is also Jiro's sister, and Jiro hates her a lot. They explain the reason why when the project continues, but you begin to understand where he comes from. In a twisted way, you kind of understand where she comes from too, of why she is hated towards Jiro and why Jiro wants her dead. And it makes me wonder whose side I should pick. And it makes you think, if you was on her side, would you have done the exact same thing? A lot of people would say no, but I would say in the human aspect, a lot of people would agree of why she did what she did. When this project continues, we're introduced to other characters that show us the variations of where they stand on into the project, where things begin to get bad. And this is when we're introduced to a lot of dialogue, a lot of chemistry, a lot of attachment to these other characters. And above all, just how things get fallen in place when it comes to the action, the vampiristic combat, and a sudden kill count that I was not really ready for, especially when it comes to the humans interfering with vampire activity. You would think by these humans being around vampires, they'll be more prepared, but no. And I kind of understand that, because by these humans trying to figure out which vampire is more deadly, which vampire is peaceful, and which vampire is worth being trusted, there are times where they will have their guard let down. Even vampires let their guard down a lot in this anime. And getting into the whole anime comparison to Hellsing, I was getting a lot of Black Cat feels too watching this project. A lot of Black Cat and a lot of Hellsing vibes was really going into my retina a lot while I was watching this whole anime. And that's not a bad thing, because I love them both. The introduction of this project, which I rarely talk about in these animes, pulled me in. When the anime starts off, we get that like this old 90s retro, spooky, alternative rock theme song that really sinks me into the project, where it shows Jiro running into the night, slaying down bad vampires one by one while he pursues his whole entire purpose to be fulfilled. I thought that was a good way for me to get pulled in. Same thing with the introduction. Now, a lot of these episodes will fill you in with a lot of gunplay, a lot of sword play, a lot of vampiristic play, a lot of blood being spilled, or a lot of blood being sucked. So they calm us down with a nice and subtle introduction with a little bit of a melody tune to it, and to end it off with a whole new episode teaser of what would happen if you continue on watching the project. Wrapping up this project, they have given us a few episodes with the stakes being very high, with the Kulon children beginning to wreak havoc way more than normal by almost all the population being infected, and Jiro and everybody else that was trying to defend the people or just defend themselves being in high stakes. There was a lot of times where I really did thought that they might get killed off, and they actually showed a twist too that I was not prepared for. That was very unpredictable, and it made me want more of the project, especially the way how the whole anime ended. And to be fair, this may have been the reason why a lot of anime critics or just anime websites have given this a very miniature score, if not by highest, an average score, because of how the anime has ended. Just to tease us just to read the manga. But screw that. I kind of agree what the critics and the anime websites have given us, because if you're going to start the anime in the anime, damn it, I hate that type of shit. Because the way how Black Blood Brothers has ended, it left me with a big, tremendous cliffhanger that made me question how Jiro, how Kataru, how everybody was going to live their lives. It ended in a way where some people may thought that they was happy with it, but god damn it, I wanted more of it, and I wanted this anime to continue. This is an anime that need way more than 12 episodes. And by saying that this anime is indeed enjoyable, it is indeed a very good ride. By anybody that watched Black Blood Brothers, the best thing they can say is that they want more of it. The worst thing that they can say is that they wish that they had more of it. I'm gonna have to give Black Blood Brothers an A. I really wanted to give this the highest score possible. But the way how it ended, unquestionable ending, this is the best I can give it for now. The way how it ended, I really want this project to continue. I really did. It really, and they have. They look, the way how this anime ended, I think they can do this. I think they can pull this off. If this was a Netflix series, or if Funimation have given this project to another company that doesn't mind continuing the project, especially if they make it more gorier, more horrific, or just more into like a darker tone, they can do this. If you watch Black Blood Brothers, trust me, you will be on board as much as I am. That's all I have to say for today. Like always, please stay tuned for my upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher. And you guys have a good day.